Adjustments for the Minnesota Timberwolves organization and roster. Implanted by head coaches, enforced by players, which created a Timberwolves 143-101 victory over the Oklahoma City Thunder. Good morning, happy Sunday. My name's Tim, and we're going to talk about the Timberwolves Game 3 win over the Thunder, the adjustments that were made, and how the Wolves won this game. But first, I need to tell you about 5-Star Bath Solutions of Minneapolis because they transformed our bathroom, and I need to do you the favor of telling you about this amazing business because you don't have to wait 6 to 8 weeks or 3 or 4 months for a project to get done in your bathroom. You can have your project fully remodeled, your bathroom fully remodeled in 48 hours. I'm talking about floor, shower, surround, sink, vanity, everything. Take a look at these pictures if you're watching on YouTube. We went from an old, disgusting, and moldy floor and shower, an ugly step, handbars, one sink, disgusting looking vanity. It was outdated, disgusting, and embarrassing. And then in 48 hours, they put in a new floor, completely updated, completely renovated, everything. We're talking about affordable payment plans too, a transferable warranty, which means the warranty transfers to the next buyer if you want to sell your home. And we're talking about updated bathroom, which is going to increase the value of your home. This is the investment that you want to do. 5-Star Bath Solutions of Minneapolis. 48-hour bathroom renovation. Check them out today. 5-Star Bath Solutions of Minneapolis. All right, Timberwolves win, and it's adjustment season because everyone wants to talk about the adjustments. But the first thing I want to talk about is the swing from Game 1 to Game 3. The Wolves lost Game 1, 114-88. That's a 26-point loss. And then won Game 3, 143-101. That's a 42-point win. We are talking about a 68-point swing. 68-point swing from Game 1 to Game 3. And before we dive into the adjustments, that stat by itself is just a mind-boggling number. The Wolves lost by 26, and then they win by 42. So much can change from game to game that one team can lose by 26 and another team can win by 42. I don't think there's another sport like basketball where the swings are so different. The differential can be so different. And the main adjustment that the Wolves made in this game is they made their shots. People want to complicate these things and, they did this and they did that. The brilliant strategy by the Wolves to guard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander this way, or to put this offensive motion in the game. The Thunder just could not see it coming. The biggest adjustment, the Timberwolves shot 50% from the three-point line, 20 for 40, compared to the 28% from the three-point line in Games 1 and Games 2. That's the difference. That's why the game was different. That's why the Wolves won this game. Everybody was clicking from 3. Edwards, 5 for 8 from 3. Conley, 2 for 6 from 3. Jaden McDaniels, 2 for 4. Julius Randle, 2 for 5. And the bench, Naz Reid, 2 for 3. DiVincenzo, 2 for 2. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 2 for 4. So as much as people want to make it about adjustments and the Timberwolves did this, the game was impacted and it changed because the Timberwolves shot 50% from the three-point line. Sure, they did do things differently defensively, But here's the truth. Offensive shot making is directly correlated with defensive intensity. The Timberwolves' defensive intensity was different in games 3 than it was versus games 1 and games 2 because they were making more shots in game 3. And although it shouldn't be, you should be having a defensive intensity regardless if your shot is going in or not. But the truth is, even in open gym basketball, even in the NBA, defensive intensity is correlated with shot making. Because you make a shot, you start feeling good about yourself. You make a shot and you want to work harder on the other end of the floor because you feel good about yourself. And the Timberwolves could do the exact same thing in game 4, where they guard Shea the exact same way. They have the exact same shots. They have the same intensity, and they could lose. So as much as people want to make it about the adjustments, it was the shot making. It was the Thunder not shooting as well. So one of the best things Charles Barkley says is it's a make or miss league. Who's going to make shots and who's going to miss the shots? It's really as simple as that. One of the big adjustments, however, if we're going to talk about adjustments, was the input into the lineup of Terrence Shannon Jr., the rookie out of Illinois. And my first reaction to him going in is it's about time. Because he should be a regular part of the Timberwolves rotation, even if it is only for 10 minutes a game. 5 minutes in the second quarter, 5 minutes in the third quarter, particularly when Anthony Edwards is off the floor. That's when he should be in. Because Terrence Shannon Jr. offers the Timberwolves an offensive option that doesn't really exist outside of Anthony Edwards. Julius Randle brings this, and Anthony Edwards brings this. But outside of those guys, it's really only Terrence Shannon Jr. Terrence Shannon Jr. is different than Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Dante DiVincenzo because he does not live and die by the three-point line. He attacks the rim, similarly to Anthony Edwards. And when Edwards is not on the court, there is no reason why Terrence Shannon Jr. should not be on the court. Because he provides the Timberwolves something different than jacking and hoisting threes. He puts more pressure on the defense than Dante DiVincenzo and Nickeil Alexander-Walker combined, especially when those guys aren't making their shots. And in games 3, they made their shots because everybody was making their shots. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 5 for 9, 12 points. Dante DiVincenzo, 2 for 2, 6 points. Naz Reid, 4 for 6, 10 points. Especially when Naz Reid does not have it going. The Timberwolves' best scoring threat off the bench. Terrence Shannon Jr. should be in the game. And that's what we heard from Chris Finch postgame. He said, you're going to see a lot more of Terrence Shannon Jr. There is a lot to love about his game, not only offensively, but defensively. The dude is physical, and he plays with an energy that you don't see from every single player within that Timberwolves organization. And here's a stat about Terrence Shannon Jr. coming from Dave McMenamin. He says, his 9 points in the first half are the most by a Timberwolves rookie off the bench in an entire game in franchise history, eclipsing Shane Heal's previous record of 6 points against the Rockets on April 24th, 1997. I have no idea who Shane Heal is. I've never even heard of him. But here's also the truth about Terrence Shannon Jr. The dude is ready to play NBA basketball, even though he's a rookie, because he's a 23 or 24-year-old rookie. The difference between being Rob Dillingham, a 19-year-old rookie, and being Terrence Shannon Jr., a 24-year-old rookie, is leaps and bounds. We're talking about mountains versus valleys of a difference, because his body has matured. He is strong. He does have an NBA body. And when Terrence Shannon Jr. is in the game, he can be physical with the opponent because he's ready to be physical with the opponent. So, great draft pick by the Wolves. And I think Terrence Shannon Jr. is going to have a major impact on the Timberwolves organization, not just for the rest of these playoffs, but next year and the years going forward, because I think he's a special talent. And he only has one move, which is fascinating. The dude can't go right. He only can go left. And you hear so much about, oh, you need to have a counter move to your move. And sure, there's advantages to that. And I think that's how you take the next step in the league. But you look at some of the great players. Anthony Edwards has counter moves. Julius Randle, he can't go right. He can only go left. He only has one move, post up, fade away over his left-hand side. How many sky hooks have we seen from Julius Randle? A little left over his right-hand shoulder. Never. You never see it. Terrence Shannon Jr. is the same way. If you're a young kid and you want to become a great player, perfect one move. Work on one move over and over and over and over again until that one move is great. Because Terrence Shannon Jr. is a testament, and so are many NBA players, a testament to really only having one move, can't dribble with his right hand towards the basket, and NBA defenses struggle with that. So just kind of a fun, interesting note about that. All right, next point I want to make. Anthony Edwards. I've been clamoring for Edwards not to sit back and relax for the first half, because you do that, the game's over. The Thunder are a different animal. And finally, in Game 3, Edwards started the game hot and ready to play. 16 points in the first quarter, was efficient, set the tone offensively and defensively, had multiple strips from the Thunder offense and had fast break dunks, knocked down threes, was aggressive, played tremendous defense. He's got to set the tone every single game for the Timberwolves to have a chance against the Thunder, because I have my doubts about the Wolves being able to win back-to-back games against the Thunder. The Thunder are going to look completely different in Game 4, and so will the Wolves than they did in Game 3. Because the likelihood is that the Wolves will not shoot 20 for 40 from the three-point line. The offense is going to struggle more, which is going to impact the defensive intensity. And what does need to happen in Game 4 is that Anthony Edwards needs to start the game with the same energy as he did in Game 3. He needs to start the game with the same mentality of impacting the game and wanting to destroy the Thunder in the opening period. Anthony Edwards by himself outscored the Thunder in the first quarter. He had 16 points. The Thunder had 14 points. And that's the kind of impact that we want to see from him. Sure, he will not outscore the Thunder in Game 4 by himself in the first quarter. But the idea is still the same. He needs to put his foot on the gas pedal as soon as the opening tip happens, because that's the formula the Timberwolves need to beat the Thunder. And you saw the teammates feed off of Edwards' energy. In games 1 and games 2, Edwards was so relaxed at the beginning of the game that he forced the teammates to make plays. And Julius Randle did so in game 1 and kept the Wolves in it. But in game 2, when Randle wasn't that guy, Edwards still wasn't really that guy, then everything just fell apart. One last talking point. Third quarter, Timberwolves are up by like 30 to start the quarter. The Thunder go on an 11-2 run. They cut the lead to 22. Finch calls a timeout. Fans are panicking. I sent a text to the group thread that said, this will become a single-digit lead at some point. Well, I was proven wrong, because immediately after the timeout, the Timberwolves go on a 7-0 run and get the lead back up to 30, and after that, the game was over. The Thunder were always going to make a run, but how the Wolves responded to that run was going to be the difference between winning or losing this game. The difference between winning this game easily and winning this game with a little worry. Because the lucky part for the Timberwolves, the fortunate part for the team, is that they were up by 31, and the Thunder went on an 11-2 run, which meant the lead got cut down to 22. Instead of the lead being 22 or 20, and the Thunder going on an 11-2 run and the lead getting cut to 11 or 12, and they're right back in the game, the Timberwolves still had some buffer and some room to breathe because they played so well in the first half. So when the Wolves went on a 7-0 run, the Thunder waved the white flag and the game was essentially over. So great work by the Timberwolves responding to that, because the Thunder are a great third quarter team. And we've seen that in games 1 and games 2. The Thunder blew the games open in both games in the third quarter, getting big double-digit leads. And that was enough for the Thunder to hold off the Timberwolves in games 1 and games 2. So the fact that the Wolves responded to a 11-2 run with a 7-0 run of their own was huge, because the Thunder rested their players in the entire fourth quarter. And the Timberwolves also got to rest their players for the entire fourth quarter. So they should be ready and energized for game 4. Both teams should be. But again, as far as adjustments go, there's not a single adjustment that's going to make a 42-point game. Sure, there's small things you can do guarding Shea. They doubled him off the pick and roll. They made him pass. But Terrence Shannon Jr. outscored everybody within that Thunder starting lineup. That's not an adjustment. That's just a guy making shots and finishing at the rim. That's a team knocking down threes at a high clip. So adjustment, sure, fine, you can call it that. I'm just going to call it what it is. The Timberwolves made their shots. It's as simple as that. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. Make sure you check out 5-Star Bass Solutions of Minneapolis. And go Wolves. Game 4 is around the corner. Monday night, Memorial Day. Have a good day, everybody.